Really? Hello everyone, I'm Saman. I'm going to present Persona to you today. Because we had talks of mirrors a few times, I think the best thing would be to see some insights of mirrors from Bergman. So in this video, we're seeing mirrors in movies of Bergman. And we see how often he's going to refer to them in his movies. All these scenes are happening in front of mirrors.
I am silver and exact. I have no preconceptions. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately. Just as it is, unmisted by love or dislike. I am not cruel, only truthful. The eye of a little god, four-cornered. Most of the time, I meditate on the opposite wall. It is pink, with speckles. I have looked at it so long, I think it is part of my heart. But it flickers. Faces and darkness separate us over and over. Now I am a lake. A woman bends over me, searching my reaches for what she really is. Then she turns to those lines.
Bad internet, yeah. I think it's enough. We all understand that now, that movies are, in his movies, mirrors are very important. Usually, every movie of him has some sort of a character standing in front of a movie, in front of a mirror. So now let's dig into the movie and see what are the merits of it. So the movie was made in 1966. It was made by Ingmar Bergman. The two of the main characters are played by two of his favorite actresses, Liv Ullmann, who has had extensive partnership with Bergman in many movies, Face to Face, Saraband, Shame, Scenes from a Marriage, Autumn Sonata, Cries and Whispers. In all of them, she's been part of the main cast, and she's always been one of the main actresses that Bergman has worked with after their first partnership. I think Persona was their first partnership, and after that she was the main actress of his movies. Also, Bibi Andersson has had extensive partnership with Ingmar Bergman in movies like Wild Strawberries, Seventh Seal, Brink of Life. In all of them, she was one of the main actresses as well. So as we can see, there is a group of people who have worked with each other many times, and then they come together again to make another good movie. The music was done by Lars Jonsson Werle, who had done other musics for movies by Bergman as well, like Hour of the Wolf, and I think a few other works as well. The cinematography was done by Sven Nykvist. Movies like Face to Face, Fanny and Alexander, Autumn Sonata, Magic Flute, all of them were, he was the one that did the cinematography. So again, movies by Bergman are usually like this. So he has a group of collaborators who he does the movies with them usually, and rarely changes any of the scenery, which I think it makes a great comfort for him. So he's very comfortable with his actresses, with the cinematographer, with the music and everything, which makes the movies extremely personal for him, because through their life he has influenced them a lot. So if you watch interviews that has been done with Bergman and another actor or actress, you see that that actor or actress has been heavily inspired by Ingmar Bergman. So at the end, majority of the contents that you see from the movies are your personal journey into the mind of Ingmar Bergman. I'm going to talk about the movie from 3 different aspects, which intertwine with each other, and I hope that will answer many of the questions that were asked today. The first thing that I want to talk about is the essence of the movie. At the beginning, what we see is a kid in front of a big stage. The boy, a young boy, wakes up, looks at the wall. There's a face of a woman that is projected upon the wall. So you see the kid sees the wall. So the kid tries to reach the wall and tries to touch that woman, but he cannot reach it. You understand that he has a great tenderness, great passion for that picture in the wall, but he cannot reach it. And from here, we start to realize that this movie is a movie about cinema itself, the nature of cinema. And it shows 2 aspects, a duality of cinema. The first is a window, the next is a mirror. You, in this scene, as a spectator, you are sitting on the other side of a window and looking into this scene. You're seeing this thing. On the other side, there's a mirror, which is the wall. So the kid is in front of a mirror. So what is the main sense of the mirror that makes it so useful for Bergman? A mirror only shows what is projected upon it. A mirror is always like a wall. There is no depth to it. There's no other side of it. You only see what is there. So as a spectator, that kid sees the scene on the wall, tries to reach it, but he cannot. Because this is the mirror side of cinema. And we always feel that. We always feel that there is something missing for us. We never fully understand cinema. We never fully grasp it because there's a wall, because it's projected. It's not real. On the other side, the window is there too. Through cinema, we can see different worlds. We can see different new worlds, new people. So there's this duality, and the movie is about this duality. So the dualities are portrayed by the 2 actresses. One that does not talk, which is Liv Ullmann. Her face is always silent. You only see reactions from her to things that are said to her. So she's pretty much the mirror. She acts like that mirror aspect of cinema. On the other side, you have Bibi Andersson, Sister Alma, who talks all the time, who projects, who actually opens her soul to you. She confesses about her most inner feelings and most secret things that she has done. So this is the window side of cinema. We have this duality, and keep this in mind. And actually, duality and this specifically the mirror construct of cinema is not coming from Bergman, but rather is a theory by Bertolt Brecht, which has had a lot of support from European directors. For example, Fellini has a movie about cinema, 8 and a half, which is very much like this movie, in this sense of having this mirror construct where you as a spectator, it's hard for you to grasp the movie fully. However, you see things, you have fragments, but you can never put them together to make complete sense to you. And in this movie, we have both of this. At the beginning, when you see that there's this patient and there's this nurse that she wants to nurse the patient, and all of this is could be reality. So you don't question it. You fully understand it. So this is the window. You go into these people's lives. Goes ahead, and at the point when the 2 of the ladies go in front of a mirror, it happens in it probably happens in Sister Alma's dream, because she went to bed before that, and then she kind of wakes up, but at that point you're not sure if she is actually awake or she's sleeping. And then they go in front of a mirror. That's where the mirror stage starts. And from that point till around the end of the movie, you're pretty much you don't know if you're in dream or in your reality. For example, the husband comes and then he doesn't recognize the voice of his wife. He mistakes that lady for his wife, which is kind of impossible in reality. On the other side, scenes happen without any reference to the previous scenes. For example, they sit together and talk together without any reference to what happened previously. Therefore, we can see that at this point, there's a wall between us and the characters, and that wall hinders our understanding, and we cannot fully get what's going on in the movie. Therefore, this movie pretty much projects Bergman's idea of cinema. So this is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it has to do with psychology of cinema. So as an actor and actress, you're an empty shell of a human being. You're supposed to not have any feelings or any opinions. All your feelings and opinions on stage are coming from your director. And off stage, that's the problem for an actress. When you go off stage, the director is not a single person. The director is everybody. Your mom tells you that she wants this from you. Your husband tells you he wants this from you. The kid wants another thing. And at some point, you lose your grasp of the border. You don't remember where is the border between stage and real world. You forget when you're acting and when you're real. And at some point, you realize that you're acting all the time. And that's where corruptness comes. Because acting on stage is just acting. Acting off stage is lying. And where you're lying continuously all the time, then you become corrupt. And then again, now the duality comes. You have two persons, one which is real and genuine, and one which is never real, and she's never genuine. Liv Ullmann, actually she told, the other lady, Sister Alma, told her that nobody knows how rotten you are as me. So we have this. And then, if we look at this from Liv Ullmann's perspective, she was always told what to do on stage. And when she goes off, as with the pregnancy and all of that, which was projected on her face, she's thought or seems to be great if she had a kid. Seems to be great if she was a mom. And then she does it. And then she goes on with things that seems to be great for her, but not being. So she wants to be, but she always just seemed, which brings her to a point that she just cannot bear this lying, this corruptness anymore. So stops talking at all. And actually I'm thinking that there's a relationship between this and some of Nietzsche's philosophy. In his Ex Homo, he says when he's faced with great animosity and when he wants to rebel against someone, he's powerless against it. Instead of bearing animosity and being full of full of enmity, he prefers to have a lack of will. He calls it a Russian lack of will. He just wants to stop doing anything and he just lays in the snow and that's it. Here we have that from Liv Ullmann. She just stops talking. She's just like she stops everything, and that's where the corruptness stops. I think this arc is also done. The next thing is, this movie is very personal for Ingmar Bergman in terms of the fact that he had a very troubled relationship with his mother. In his own autobiography, which is The Magic Lantern, and also in some of other interviews that I've seen from him, he talks about his mother, and he says that he had great love and passion for his mom. And he says that his mom was the most beautiful woman ever and all of that, but his mom was religious and conservative. So she never showed any love back, any tenderness back. The only time Ingmar Bergman was getting love from his mom was when he was sick, which he says that at that time she showed a lot of tenderness towards him. And we see in this movie, the baby is kind of sick. He's lying in a hospital bed, pretty much. So it brings me to this point that I see Bergman to be the kid in the movie. And this movie is kind of his personal journey through his mom, trying to understand his mom and why she never showed him any tenderness, any genuine love. He has a few movies like this with this theme. Autumn Sonata, The Silence, Brink of Life, all of them are about love between mom and a child. A love that should have been there but was never there from the mom's side. His actresses always, he kind of always fooled around with his actresses. Specifically, he was very much involved with Harriet Anderson, not this Bibi Anderson, Harriet Anderson, and with Liv Ullmann, the Elizabeth Wagler. They were quite involved with each other. And what we have heard from the actresses regarding Bergman is that he didn't wanted love from them. It wasn't that he wanted to have, like, be with them. He kind of wanted a mistress mother, which was very, very impossible for the actresses. So usually he actually, after a while, he would break up with a girl, with a mistress, because he couldn't find that balance. He married 5 times. He had 9 kids, and only in his 5th wife he found what he was looking for. He was looking for a woman that is very much like his mom in both shape and also in character. And he actually said a few times that his 5th wife was the most look-alike woman to his mother. And so we see he's always been searching for his mom. And here in this movie, we start to see him going through a woman to see how does that woman feel about the child. And the beauty of it is it comes back to the mirror window duality of cinema. So we have Bibi Anderson and Liv Ullmann sitting in front of each other, and Liv Ullmann never says a word. She doesn't say anything. We only understand her feelings from her face. So the feelings could come from 2 things. Either she is reacting to the accusations, so because Bibi Anderson is pretty much accusing her of all of these things, and her reaction is coming from either she is just disgusted by this, or no, she's actually reflecting upon it and realizes, yeah, this is the truth. Therefore, we see this whole relationship between him and his mother binds back to this duality of cinema. At the end, you never get any answers. At the end, you don't know if he's actually this lady never loved her child, or it's that she's just reacting to this great accusation of you brought a child to this world and you never loved him. I think this, this is the 3rd arc that I was going for. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
So,
Questions?
Q&A,
Yeah.
If you have any questions, just please raise your hand. And Zari. کسی دیگه
سوال من این بود که تو گفتی که فرمی که میخواست اداره بده که یارو استیجی چیزایی که ازت میخوان در واقع جامعه ازت میخواد که در واقع بخشش مادر بده. بعد یه بخشی هم که درون خودته که اونجا اشاره میکنه که این میخواد بیاد تو لندن مثل ما یه جایی از این هایی که نمیدار تنها باشی. حالا داشتی میگفتی که اون بخشی که این میاد کانفرانس میشه بهش میگه که تو میخواستی بچه میخواستی بیاری و بعد نشد اینجوری کردی و برامت کردی و باشون جانه گفتی که این بخش رو دوست داشت. از کجا میگی این بخش رو دوست داشت؟ شاید این بخش اصلا دوست نداشت.
کی دوست داشت؟
گفتی که این میخواسته انگار وقتی که دوتایشون نشسته بودن و این داشت میگفت که تو در واقع بچه رو نمیخواستی، داره در مورد بچه صحبت میکنه. بعد گفتی که اینجوری به نظر میرسیده که الیزابت در واقع
نه میگم ریاکشنش یا از این میاد که داره به این اکیوزیشن ها ریاکت میکنه، ناراحت میشه. این ناراحتی که تو صورتش میبینی ممکنه از این باشه، یا ممکنه از این باشه که واقعا داره واقعیت رو میشنوه و از این واقعیته که ناراحت شده. خب یعنی ما نمیفهمیم ما اصلا نمیدونیم این چیزایی که بیبی اندرسون داره به زبان میاره واقعی یا نه، ولی ما از ریاکشن های لیو اولمان میفهمیم که یا اینا ممکنه اینا واقعی باشن، یعنی مریتی تو این هست که این واقعی باشه، و از یه طرف هم ممکنه که نه واقعی نباشه، فقط دیسگاست شده از این اکیوزیشن های مزخرف. هر دو اینا کاملا ممکنه که برمیگرده به دوالیتی سینما.
Thanks for your presentation. I have two quick questions. One is that you talked about these dualities. Have you seen or noticed the duality of time in this movie? In a sense that it's circular. We start with the opening scene, it ends in the opening scene.
Yeah.
And also the time is a little bit also fragmented. Like, because it is like, as we were saying, it's like dream reality. I lost the sense of time in this movie, and is it also nature of cinema from this aspect? And the second thing is, Amir was talking about lesbianism. If we assume that there are two characters, because I don't think that there are two characters, but if we assume that there are two characters, doesn't he try to say by this characterization that the only way that women can somehow get to peace with themselves is through a lesbian, or lesbian in a sense of like being with another woman, not necessarily like sexual, but like the only like solace is being with a woman, if we have this interpretation.
See your point about the circularness of the time. I had never noticed it. This was the fourth time I was seeing this. And the fragmentation actually starts at some point. So after the movie starts, so the beginning is just scenes from editing, which tells us to go towards cinema, like an anthological movie about cinema. But then after that, the movie starts in a linear way. Everything is there. The point that the mirror stage starts is where Bibi Anderson goes to sleep, and then she apparently wakes up, and then they go in front of the mirror. So between two mirrors, it's actually happening between two mirrors. They go in front of the mirror, and then the movie ends. That stage ends again in front of a mirror, and then she wakes up, and then they go. So I agree with you in this window, in this period, the movie is very fragmented, time-wise, and in every aspect actually. Even the cinematography is very fragmented. But outside this, I see it very linearly. About your second question, I have seen like 25 movies by him, and in like 7-8 movies he talks about women and their relationships. Actually, even more than that, like maybe in 10 of his movies. But this is the only one that has kind of a shadow of lesbianism, I think. So I would say no.
Okay, Lassie.
If you think of this movie as you presented, an ontological approach to look how the movie is filmed or created. What about the photos that he used in the film? Like
What about what? Sorry.
About the war, about.
Oh yeah. As I said, yes, there's an ontology of cinema in this movie, but it's also, I said, it's very, very personal. So first I want to talk about the picture with Auschwitz. I think it was Auschwitz. Well, Bergman had some flirtations with Nazis because he spent a lot of time in Germany, specifically at the brink of Nazism in 1933, I think. Yeah. He was staying in Germany with some of his families, and he was a member of Nazi youth for a while. Like he was going there and all, and he was in a lot of time after that, when he became like the most famous director ever, he was haunted by it. Many people were bringing it up, and he actually made even a movie about it. Shame is pretty much about the shame he feels about this situation. So that picture is, I think, kind of his inner feelings about that. And with Vietnam's war, it was just like it's 1966. It's the revolution in France. Like even if you're a pumpkin, you could not be neglected to that. So it's definitely like you have to talk about it. It's the outside. Like your characters are not isolated from outside. They're still living in world. Although, like with cinema, although you're constructing a world, but eventually you're projecting light into a part of the world. So at that time, Vietnam War was everywhere. The whole world was talking about that. So wherever you project your light in the world, it's gonna have some Vietnam War, definitely. And your characters are definitely affected by it, which shows it here.
Like the way you presented, the film is influenced by the Bergman life.
Yes, yes.
But in a way, I didn't see like the exact. So the film is not really about the mom and the kid or the abortion. The thing that I see here, like the film starts with the two lives merging to each other at the first, and exactly at the end scene that you see is they are detaching from each other. So I feel the movie is mostly about like these two personalities merging into each other, and like I'm saying, like the way that you are presented, it can make sense, but to me it doesn't say the whole movie. And
like 1/4 of my presentation was about this. The rest was not about this.
Like I didn't see like you talk about what Human said that much. Like
What?
About the two personality. Like your main point was first about the film is about the cinema, that is a mirror, and the second like
Mirror and window.
Yeah,
Mirror and window.
And the second was about the relationship between mom and kid.
I see.
And
No, there was another one, Psychology of Cinema.
Yeah, it's related somehow. You are seeing that the movie starts with the kid in front of a mirror.
Not a mirror, a wall.
A wall.
That is projected.
It's not a mirror. It's just
No,
a
but
projection.
a mirror is pretty much like that wall. That's how you get to there. Because a mirror only reflects what is in front of it, and there's no depth to a mirror. You can never reach what is in the mirror. You can never reach the other side of the mirror.
I mean,
Just like that wall, there's
didn't
something
see
projected on
any
it.
mirror in the movie, right?
No, actually, there is. This scene is a very famous mirror scene. It's like it's pretty much the most famous mirror scene in history of cinema.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't start with a mirror, right?
No, the movie didn't start with the mirror. The mirror stage of the movie started with this, and ended with this. So there is a period in the movie that the narration stops being linear. It becomes erratic. You don't even know if it's happening in reality or it's happening in dream. It actually gives you lots of evidence that it's happening in dreams. That period starts with this and ends with this picture in front to the two actresses in front of a mirror. So that's that stage that I was talking about. About your other question, that duality, as I said, these two persons are actually each one of them representing that duality of cinema, these two sides of cinema. And at the end, we know that this duality is one. So this is two aspects of cinema that we see. Just like these two persons, they seem different to us. They are actually different, but on the other side, they're kind of the same. Like they're part of a unity, but they're at the same time there's a duality in them.
Okay, you sir.
I think that another big theme of the movie is the issue of consciousness, which could be, like the issue of the mirrors, the window. It's kind of either a reflection or a metaphor of that. The issue of consciousness, like all the stream of consciousness of by Alma, but somehow you get the feeling that also Elizabeth is somehow being part of that stream of consciousness, even though she doesn't talk too much, and then the stream of consciousness of the author, like the whole story. And another big theme also related to that is false consciousness, the mirror. And the other one, which Alma mentions explicitly several times, I did it more than twice, is the issue of bad consciousness. She feels very bad about her little orgy. We don't know if she feels bad because she got involved in the orgy because some religious thoughts that she might have, or because she feels that she betrayed her fiancé.
Yeah.
But I find that feeling of bad consciousness related to the images of Vietnam, the Holocaust, and now that you mentioned the shame that Bergman felt about his relationship with the Nazi regime, I think it's somehow all related to this issue.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You're right.
Okay, Khashayar, and the last question is Peter.
I was probably going to say mostly that, and I thought maybe what woman was saying was that, or something. Maybe what Rao was asking was mostly about that psychological duality, not the cinematic one. Like, I don't know, some people talk about Eden, superego, or ego, alter ego, or like a bit Jungian, like a persona and the soul, then which is which, like I say, maybe Elizabeth is the persona, and then alma, that in Latin means soul, is the soul. So then there are many ways of looking at them as one, but there are many interpretations. Nobody knows which one is right, but yeah, there's definitely a lot to read about. And I don't know who posts those essays on the emails and stuff on Namana, because there is a good one there.
I did.
Did you do that? Okay, that was a good one. Yeah. So go and read that link, because the other time I asked, I said that was a good one, and everybody looked at me, and nobody knew who that was. Yeah, that's a good. Like, so I guess that answers many questions.
You made me a liar.
Regarding, and there are some comments on there that read the comments, because some people like correct the original essay in some parts. So lots of good comments on the new.
Good job, Nancy.
Thanks, Khashayar. And the last question, I think, there was a question behind Amir.
Just a couple of observations. Number one is that the name of the film is Persona, which is singular. So it points out the fact that the two characters are the same person. And the way that it starts with the diversion in the middle, it ends up again with a single person coming out of all this discussion between the two characters, the two persona, two sides of the same persona. You know, the two sides were discussing the conscious and unconscious. And Alma was threatening that if you don't start talking to me, I would start telling you what you've done, which was sort of reflects to the fact that they are the same person. They were not, you know, Alma wasn't sort of theorizing. She was stating the fact with you. So that way I felt that those points were making the film more of a duality of the characters of the two, and how a person, and by the way, at the beginning the son is not in hospital, he's in morgue. That's a morgue, that's not a hospital. You notice it's a morgue, everybody is just flat and with a white color on the top. It's not a hospital, it's a morgue, so the son is dead in a way, and he's created a conscious trauma for the lady, and she's going through the things. She goes in on a trip and comes back as a unit, as a single person again.
That's it. Okay. Just quick.
She has a question.
Just maybe someone knows.
Sorry, do you have a question?
Yeah, maybe someone knows or not.
Okay, just please wait, because we have someone here. Just quick, please.
Very quick question. So to your like basic research, so what I understood through your presentation was that this director is mostly involved with reflecting his own interpretation of different aspects of his life.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
So I wonder, does most of his work start in a way to present his views of cinema in a way?
Not cinema, no, not necessarily. This one is particular, yes, because this one is like the third to a string of really famous movies about cinema. The first one is Content by Jean-Luc Godard, and then the second one was 8.5 by Fellini, and then this one. It was a time of very much ontological thinking about cinema, but these other movies are not like that now. But they're very personal in terms of his personal opinion of Christianity, his personal opinion of war, of horror, of betrayal, of all of those kind of movies.
So the concept of mirror that you brought up is basically like a self-reflection, right? A self-reflection.
Yes, very much.
Maybe the characters here, because I personally didn't see that much of the mirror, to be honest, in this film. Like it wasn't evident to me. Like it's a focus of the film, right? But I believe like through the film, most of the interaction was a self-reflection, like how a person would react to different aspects of life, like if it's like social or if it's like personal or whatever. So I guess like this director is trying to self-reflect through his film.
Yeah, that is true, yes.
is it a question or if it's a statement? We
It's
haven't.
just a general question. Does
Yeah, sure.
anybody have any idea about the difference between dualism and bipolarism?
Between what?
Dualism and bipolarism.
It's not, maybe it's multiple personality disorder.
Dualism is
Yeah.
just
Because bipolar-
general
Like,
concept.
Severe, like bipolarism?
Bipolarism is a like sickness, pretty much.
It's a mental disease.
Dualism
Yeah.
is not. That's the one that
But
I'm
dualism, I don't like.
Dualism is just mind body, like body and soul.
Yeah.
That's like philosophically, that's what it refers to.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bipolarity is mental
sickness.
yeah, I know that. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Thank you again for presenting.
Thank you.
Okay, the next section.